I'm Dr. Sarah Ballantyne, better known as the Paleo Mom. I used to be a medical researcher, and now I'm a health advocate. Not that long ago, I was morbidly obese and suffered from over a dozen health conditions. After the birth of my second daughter, I decided to do something about it, and that's when I discovered the paleo lifestyle. I'm now healthier and happier than I've ever been. I'm here to show you just how easy and beneficial eating and living the paleo lifestyle can be. Today, you'll learn to cook a delicious new paleo recipe, and we'll dive into the science behind it. Hey! Paleo diet is simple. It's a nutrient-dense, whole foods diet based on eating a variety of quality meat, seafood, vegetables, fruit, eggs, nuts, and seeds. It improves health by providing balanced and complete nutrition while avoiding most processed and refined foods and empty calories. Today, we're going to make a delicious paleo meal consisting of pecan-crusted chicken breast, cauliflower gravy, and my famous bacon-braised kale. I'm in the Unity Garden at the Chattahoochee Nature Center, which supplies fresh produce to local charities. Vegetables grown on organic and sustainable farms have more nutrients and more flavor. And if they're locally grown, that's even better. Plus, I love supporting my local farms. I always buy my meat direct from my farmer, from my local organic butcher, or from right here, Whole Foods Market in Marietta, Georgia.
Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
When buying meat, you want to make sure the animals are eating the diet that they're meant to eat and living in the environment where they're meant to live. This chicken was raised on a pasture where it got to eat bugs and grass in addition to its organic feed. It was never given antibiotics or hormones. This means this chicken's better for you, and most importantly, it's insanely delicious. Here's what else we'll need for our pecan-crusted chicken breast, cauliflower gravy, and bacon-braised kale. An egg, pecans, lemon juice, garlic, salt, and pepper. We'll also use 2 cups of my homemade chicken broth. It's time to head to the kitchen. Let's go. All right, let's get started with our pecan-crusted chicken breast. I'm using a really traditional breading technique here. The only difference is that I'm breading with ground pecan nuts instead of breadcrumbs. The benefit is it tastes amazing, and it's also much more nutrient dense. Pecans are full of vitamins and minerals, and bread really doesn't have anything to offer. This was 4 ounces of pecan pieces that I just ground in my food processor for 20 seconds. I'm gonna season this really simply. Just half a teaspoon of salt, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. I'm just gonna get my hands right in there. It's the best way to mix it all together. Now to get these pecan pieces to stick to my chicken breast, I'm just gonna use egg white. Now just separate the egg. I'm just gonna give that a little whip with a fork. That's it. Just dump it right into the dish. You can use any dish for breading, plate, anything that's flat. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to dip the chicken right in the egg white, kind of wipe off any excess, and then I'm just going to lay it in the pecan meal and just make sure that I've got a nice even coating. 4 chicken breasts is 1.5 to 2 pounds of chicken. You can really do this with any pieces of chicken you like. You can do this with chicken leg, chicken thigh, it can have bone in, it can have skin on. You just need to adjust the cooking time if your chicken's gonna be thicker than this chicken breast is. 4 ounces of pecans is just about right for this chicken. When in doubt, you can always grind a little extra. It's definitely mucky work. That's okay, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. So it's just coating in the egg white, wiping off any excess, and then just letting those pecan crumbs stick. Sometimes towards the end, it gets a little bit pasty, and that's okay. You just get them to all stick on that chicken, and I promise it will taste amazing when it comes out. In fact, the last piece might be the best piece. All right, I'm gonna put this into a 425-degree oven. It's gonna take 25 minutes to cook. That was easy, right? When we come back, I'm gonna tell you all about the health benefits of bacon. That's right, bacon, as we make some of my famous bacon braised kale. Avoiding grains is one of the core concepts behind eating paleo. Do you know how long humans have been eating grains? Before the break, we asked when were grains first introduced into the human diet? The earliest record of grain consumption was way back in 105,000 BC when grains were eaten when other food sources were scarce. But grains being domesticated as food crops only goes back 13,500 years. It's well known that kale is a superfood, but most people don't know what makes kale so super. Kale has more essential nutrients per calorie than any vegetable. Just 1 cup of chopped raw kale, or about one of these big green leaves, contains 206% of your recommended daily intake of vitamin A, 134% of vitamin C, 684% of vitamin K, 5% of vitamins B1, B2, and B9, 3% of vitamin B3, 9% of vitamin B6, 1% of vitamin B5, 9% of calcium and potassium, 6% of iron and magnesium, 4% of phosphorus, 10% of copper, 2% of zinc, 26% of manganese, and 5% of fiber. All that, plus a bunch of antioxidants like lutein, beta-carotene, camphorol, quercetin, and it's packed with glucosinolates, which support liver function and fight cancer. All for 33 calories. You'd have to eat 3 heads of iceberg lettuce to get the same nutrients. Plus, kale is delicious. It doesn't really matter how you cut the kale, but I prefer it bite-sized, and I've got a trick for that. I just take the leaves and I stack them up on top of each other. It's okay if it's not perfect. And then I cut one big, long cut down the middle. And then I cut about every inch down the length of the leaf. When I get to the stem, I make closer cuts so that that stem will cook just as well as the rest of the leaf. So we're just gonna set that kale aside because it's time to get our cauliflower gravy going. Cauliflower gravy is really simple. I just cut up half a head of cauliflower and I'm gonna add it to this pot of homemade chicken broth. Only 1.5 cups of broth, but let me tell you, that flavor is gonna be so amazing. We're just gonna let that cauliflower cook for 10 or 15 minutes. The goal is to actually have it a little bit overcooked so that when we blend it into our cauliflower gravy, it has this silky smooth texture. While the cauliflower is simmering, I'm gonna chop up the bacon. I have about 6 ounces of naturally cured bacon from pasture-raised pork. And I'm just gonna cut it really simply into little strips so that it can really mix with that kale. Can you believe it? A diet where you get to eat bacon? I know you're thinking, but Sarah, bacon isn't healthy, it's a known fact. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a lie. Bacon gets a bad rap for clogging your arteries and causing cancer, but it does neither. Actually, the fats in bacon are known to reduce the risk of heart disease. Yeah, that's right, reduce. That's in part because recent research shows that dietary saturated fat and dietary cholesterol actually lower blood LDL, or that bad cholesterol known to increase risk of heart disease. Plus, pork fat is actually 50% monounsaturated fats, those same heart-healthy fats that are in olive oil. Bacon from pasture-raised pork is also a good source of omega-3 fats. And what about cancer? Recent research has shown that nitrates, which are used in the curing process, do not increase risk of cancer. And studies show high consumption of processed meats only increases risk of cancer in people who don't eat many vegetables. Well, we've got that covered with our kale. Bacon is a good source of vitamin E, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, vitamin B5, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, iron, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, copper, and selenium. And if you buy bacon from pasture-raised pork, which I always recommend, it's also an excellent source of vitamin D. I'm not suggesting you eat pounds of bacon every day, but don't feel guilty about using good quality bacon to flavor a dish. A little goes a long way. Okay, we're just gonna leave the bacon for a minute because it's time to finish the cauliflower gravy. This cauliflower has been simmering for 15 minutes and it's just perfectly overcooked. I'm just gonna pour it into my blender. I'm just gonna blend it on high. Even 30 seconds to a minute is enough. So I always taste it at this point to see if it needs a little extra salt. Oh, it is so good. The secret to this cauliflower gravy is to really have very flavorful broth, but you'd be so surprised how much this tastes like gravy and not like cauliflower. I'm gonna pour it into my gravy boat. I'll try not to eat it all. When we come back, we're gonna flip our chicken and we're gonna start my famous bacon braised kale. Cooking our food was a game changer in the development of modern man. So how long ago did humans start using fire for cooking? Before the break, we asked, when did humans first begin to use fire for cooking? Well, widespread use of fire for cooking can be dated back over 120,000 years, and humans may have domesticated fire as far back as 1.5 million years ago. Welcome back. Today we're making pecan-crusted chicken breast with cauliflower gravy and some of my famous bacon braised kale. It's time to flip the chicken. We're just gonna turn each piece over to ensure we get a really nice crunchy crust. Oh, it smells so good. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? So we're just gonna gingerly flip each piece over. Look, it's browning so beautifully on the bottom. We're just gonna try and get that browning on the other side, and it's just going to be magical. Oh, a little piece falls off. You just put it back on. It'll taste great at the end, I promise. I'm gonna put that back in the oven for 10 more minutes. And it's time to start the bacon braised kale. I can't wait. Okay, let me show you my famous bacon braised kale. This dish is so simple and so delicious, you're gonna be amazed. I'm just gonna put the bacon into a cold cast iron frying pan. Bacon likes to cook slowly, so I always put it to a cold pan and then turn on the heat. I'm gonna cook it over medium heat until the bacon is nice and crispy. I just stir it every so often just to make sure it's not clumping together. Bacon is almost done, so I'm gonna get some lemon juice started. What I'm gonna do is take this lemon and I'm gonna give it a roll. This just helps the juice come out a little bit easier. And I'm gonna cut it in half. It'll be all ready to go when I am. This is almost perfect. It smells so good. All right, I'm gonna add the kale. Gonna add it in big handfuls because it's going to splatter. That's okay. It's okay, it's gonna splatter. The kale's actually going to stop that splatter from getting your arm, so it's not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna add just a drizzle of chicken broth. This is where it really becomes braising because you're using both fat and liquid to cook the kale. Every time the broth starts to evaporate and you really only have fat left in the bottom of the pan, you're gonna add another drizzle of broth, just a tablespoon or two. The idea is to keep adding broth while the kale is cooking, all the way until it's done. Look at that color. Isn't it beautiful? I'm ready to add some garlic. Just 1 clove of crushed garlic and some lemon juice. Once that lemon juice evaporates, the kale will be done. It looks and smells delicious. While this is finishing, this is a great time for this week's Lifestyle Bite. Remember that being healthy is more than just how you eat, it's also how you live. The World Health Organization lists physical inactivity as the 4th leading risk factor for global mortality. It's just so important to be physically active. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Sarah.
This is my friend and fitness guru, Charles Mayfield of Atlanta Strength and Conditioning. What are we doing today, Charles?
Sarah, today we're going to do a safe and effective exercise you can do virtually anywhere called the prisoner squat.
Okay, show me.
So we're going to take our feet shoulder width apart, clasp your fingers behind your head like so, pull your ribs down, squeeze your butt nice and tight, and descend down into the bottom, keeping your weight in your heels. Come on up.
Okay. Like this?
Looks fantastic.
Well, how many should I do?
How many can you do? We recommend generally doing 2 sets of 10. When the form's good, you can start to add volume. Let's do a couple though.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
And down, up, and down, up. Keep going.
298, 299, 300. Chicken's ready. Oh, it smells so good. You'll be amazed at how a few simple ingredients can just make such an amazing dish. When we come back, we'll reveal our final creation, pecan-crusted chicken breast with cauliflower gravy and my famous bacon-braised kale. We are often told we need to eat whole grains to get our dietary fiber. So if you're not eating grains, where do you get your fiber? Before the break, we asked which has more dietary fiber, grains or vegetables? Believe it or not, vegetables have just as much fiber as grains, while also supplying up to 10 times more essential vitamins and minerals with only a fraction of the amount of sugar. Welcome back. It's time to eat. This pecan-crusted chicken breast smells so good, and you'd be amazed how such simple ingredients can create such a complex flavor. The bacon-braised kale is just full of nutrition. Even better, it's full of flavor. I'm serving this today with a simple garden salad and some mashed sweet potato on the side, just to soak up all that extra cauliflower gravy. This gravy is so good, you don't want to waste a drop. I'm gonna ladle it all over the chicken and the sweet potato. I'm just gonna put a little bit of chopped parsley over the top, just for color. And voila, a healthy paleo meal that's simple to make, delicious to eat, and most importantly, it's insanely nutritious. Our meal today has 20 essential vitamins and minerals, a complete protein, and 12 grams of fiber. All these nutrients are fuel for your body, so you can be happier, healthier, and have the energy you need to enjoy life. Some people think the paleo diet is difficult, but as you can see, it's easy and delicious. Remember, it's only effort until it's routine. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Wow, is this eggplant?
It is eggplant.
Look how big it is. How big are they gonna get? Do I have a line now? So that we blend it into our cauliflower gravy, and I messed it up.
Okay.
What I would normally do while cooking this bacon is do a little dance. Is this gonna be in the show? Drop bacon on the floor.